Well, I have a little tattoo of it to kind of remind me of it. I got the tattoo a year after I was given the diagnosis. Like, I went with my EKG, I was like, I want that right here. Because it was my heart rate for about 20 years of my life, so I felt like I wanted to keep it with me somehow.
I think for her, I think it's something that's always present. I think this has given her a purpose and a lot of perspective. She knows why she's here. She has such a good perspective. I think when some players may get caught up in smaller details or a little bit more anxious about things, I think she knows her why. She's appreciative to be on the field and to still be playing. And so I think that's really translated for her in terms of being able to lead and really make sure people have that sense of perspective of enjoying being out here, of not really sweating the small stuff. I think that those are areas this has translated tremendously from her surgery.
How I figured out that I had a heart condition was I was on campus for about 5 to 7 days, and they took us freshmen into a room and had us do a baseline physical. They took me into a room with a doctor following my EKG and sat me down and told me there was abnormalities and I would have to go see a specialist, and I could not play lacrosse until I did that. I met with a bunch of doctors, did a whole bunch of tests, like just everything under the sun, everything you can imagine, and they told me that I had Wolff-Parkinson-White syndrome. I just kind of sat there wide-eyed and jaw dropped and kind of took it all in, and my first question was, can I play? The best I can describe it is it's a problem with the electrical wiring in the heart. While your heart normally regulates through your AV node, I had an extra electrical pathway, so it would short circuit and it would beat very fast and it wouldn't be regulated. And prior to hearing that, I had no idea that that was a thing. I should have had instances of passing out, which I really hadn't had. They said that because I was an athlete and because I was in good shape, that's most likely why I never really had any instances of it. So our original decision when it came to surgery was they didn't want me to get it, and I didn't want to get it because what normally happens with Wolff-Parkinson-White is it's an easy procedure. They go in and they ablate whatever electrical pathway is causing malfunction, but in my case, my pathway was directly next to my AV node, and their concern was that if they went in and tried to ablate it, they would nick my AV node, which would end up in me having to get a pacemaker and most likely never play again. So in order to avoid that, we decided to not go through with the surgery and try to wait out my 4 years without getting it done. We were running the mile, and we had to get a mile in 6:30. I ended up running the mile and just somehow got through it, but the second I finished, I just hit the ground and passed out, and it was really, really scary, and immediately had to go see the cardiologist, and they said that in order to play, I had to get surgery right away. The surgery and ablation itself is they weave up through your femoral arteries, so there's no like cutting into you, there's no stitches, anything like that. So the recovery wasn't too bad, but it definitely took a lot out of my body. So everything was fine post-surgery, and then I went in for a follow-up. I think it was about a month and a half later, and I got the news that it had come back. I was stuck at a crossroads. I was like, do I play? Do I get the surgery again? I really didn't know what to do. I played the rest of that season, and I ended up getting surgery the following summer, and that was a surgery that stuck, and that's a surgery that I'm still living with today.
I think for this to happen to her at this time in college, I think a lot of people don't gain that perspective until maybe they're done playing or their 4 years have expired. And so I think that she's really taken this and kind of made the most of it. I think she enjoys being out on the field. She enjoys being with her teammates. I think that she's put the work in academically to be able to put herself in a great position. So I think that she's definitely made the most of kind of learning a really tough lesson and a tough experience more than anything, and made the most of it.
So I think through all of it, I kind of just felt like I was in survival mode. My whole mindset through the whole thing was to not let it impact. I was like, this is not going to take over my year. I'm going to get through this. I'm going to beat this. And I think through that, I kind of developed like a survival mode kind of mindset, and I think that's kind of what got me through everything, and that's what allowed me to achieve what I was achieving given those circumstances. The whole situation really made me realize how fragile life is and how everything can be taken away at once. So I've kind of developed like an attitude of gratitude for even the little things, like just waking up in the morning, being able to go out and practice with my teammates and just play the sport that I love. I'm really happy to share my story because especially during what I was going through, I was looking out, trying to find like other people's stories to look on just for advice and just to know that there were other people out there that had something relatively similar to what I have. So I feel like if I can help in any way and share my story, I feel like that would mean a lot to me.